Welcome back, everybody, to the daily show where we discuss and do technical analysis for big mega cap stocks. So show your support by hitting that thumbs up button, and that is greatly appreciated. And if you're new here, consider subscribing, and that means a lot to me. Now, if you want to get my daily trade ideas, my swing trade ideas, my analysis in 3 days of live trading, definitely check out the Patreon, and that link will be down below in the description. And now let's get right into it, guys. On AMD, it's slightly up on the day, 0.33%, and you can see AMD, we actually got another hammer candle. Now AMD contracts today on AMD, I was going to play it. It was actually really crazy. For 180 calls, they were asking for $600-700, just weekly calls. And those things are jacked up right now, insanely. Now here on AMD, you can see the same thing that happened on Friday. It dropped down to 174 and a quick recovery back up to 179 right here on AMD. Also, if you look at my screen, rising 5-day moving average now sitting at 176.42. So this thing dropped below 5-day moving average. And then what happened, guys? Immediately the dip was bought up, went back up, and now holding above 176.42, and that is looking bullish going into tomorrow's earnings, and that is coming out right after the bell on AMD. So going into tomorrow's session, I think just like today, we will see a lot of chop on AMD back and forth. And if you're lucky, maybe this thing gets down to this gap tomorrow before earnings, down to 169.63. But on that way, we do have support right up here now, 176.42, and just below that 174, and then this gap just below 170. Now AMD pushes back up to the upside and can hold a 176.42 right here as a support, rising 5-day moving average. Then watch out for the next stop, and it's going right back up to 184. On Netflix, it's up 0.94%, and look at this drop, and we actually got in right here, and let me share that play with you guys on Netflix. And this was a really nice trade on Netflix, and I just wish that I had more calls on Netflix today. And here's my X account, and if you're on there, definitely give me a follow. And I do post a lot of things right here on X, and there is no subscription, nothing, so it's totally free to follow on X. Now here's that play on Netflix, and this was one of those a fantastic play where you wanted to go big, but you actually went small. And I only had like 5 contracts right here on Netflix, and that was getting in at 563. Now look at this movie here on Netflix, guys. I mean, this thing, it was down like $7, exploded. Now it's up on the day, and this was a really nice trade. And not to mention all these down here. Apple also paid today. We got in at 190, and then Apple ran up to 192. This was also a winning trade. And then right here, IWM also paying big money today, getting in at 195, and this thing from there now trading at almost 200. So that was also a really nice trade. So all these trades are available right here on Patreon. So if you're interested, check out the Patreon, and that link will be down below in the description, guys. So you guys saw that we actually got in right here at 563, getting some 600 calls, and this thing exploded. I mean, those are only $2.70, and they got over $5, almost up to $5.50. And this thing pushed and pushed all the way up to, I mean, look at this, guys, not getting up to this high, but not too far behind, 578.55, and now trading at 576. So what I said in my video, especially over the weekend, that watch out for the dip right here, 564, and right at the dot. And you can see we also got a hammer candle, and that is just insane. So going into tomorrow's session on Netflix, and I still have runners on Netflix, if this thing actually pushes, we could see a move up to 588, and like I said before, 600. On a pullback, this is gonna be your line in the sand right here, 564, and below that this thing can drop down to 5-day moving average, and that is sitting at, I would say, 550 here, 549.05 to be exact. By tomorrow this 5-day moving average will move up even more, so watch out for 550 on a pullback below 564 on Netflix. On Tesla stock, it's up 4.19%, and this is a massive rally on Tesla. Now, what I said before, that Tesla rally is just days away, and this could be it, but we're not out of the woods yet. At least I would like to see Tesla clearing 194 to 195 and getting above and holding above 5-day moving average right here, which is sitting at 194.76. Because if that happens, you're going to see a quick trip up to 200, and above 200, Tesla can come up here to close this gap 206.77, and then we can talk about more upside. Now, right now, if this is actually just a dead cat bounce, yes, things can come down again. You need to watch for the support, and that would be down here 180, and below 180, this thing can go down even more, possibly down to this gap at 162 at some point. Not straight away, but 180 gives up, there's gonna be more downside. So you got to be careful, especially if you actually bought at 180, 185. Now you're up, and if you're buying options, you need to be careful, especially below 180, because your option will get toasted. Below 180, this thing can come down even more. But if you're just buying shares, just like myself, just hold on, hang on. If you're long on it, just like myself, this thing can easily get back up to 230 to 250 again. On Nvidia stock, it's up 2.35%, so it's not just up. I mean, look at this, guys. It was up $14 and now up again another $7, $8, and pretty much hitting fresh new all-time highs right after the bell, 632. And that's just insane, how this thing is moving. Now, also, I said it before in my video that watch out for the 5-day moving average. And right at opening, 5-day moving average was sitting at around 610. And you can see this thing came down, dip was bought up. I did not play Nvidia today. And this thing is getting really risky to trade, because you can see, expected move on Nvidia stock for the week was what, $27, $28. And now it's pushing and pushing up another $7, $8 right after the bell. So where this thing can go, I mean, you can see already breaking above this high right here, 628.49. So tomorrow, if this thing actually opens above this high, watch out for continuation all the way up to 653. To the downside, below 628.49 tomorrow, watch out for the support down here, and that would be 5-day moving average, 612.70. And I don't think this thing will come down here easily. So, I mean, Nvidia is something you want to avoid right now, unless you really want to go and take a big risk buying puts or even calls, because yes, this thing can run, but do you really want to buy Nvidia at 628? Ask yourself. On Meta, it's up 1.75% and hitting a fresh new all-time high. And look at this B shape, one of the biggest B shape we have seen here in this market. And Meta from 88.09 now trading at 400 or 400 plus. And look at this, just going straight up. Where is the pullback? Absolutely nowhere. And if we call these right here pullbacks, then, well, that's just for you. I don't see any pullbacks here on Meta. It's just going straight up. Now, if this thing actually gets down to this breakout right here, I would say 326-ish, that would be a significant pullback, and this thing would not lose anything. It would be just nice pullback, but it's not going to happen. We also have earnings coming this week. Maybe with the earnings, we could see a dip on Meta. Things are getting far too overextended here on Meta, and this thing just pushing and pushing. And look at the daily chart, almost hitting upper Bollinger Band. And also, I said it before in my video, Meta hitting all-time highs. We got that right here. I said it last week, 396, the next stop, and then 400. We got that also on Meta. And now the next stop is 405 to 406. This is where upper Bollinger Band is sitting. So going into tomorrow's session on a pullback, if we get actually lucky on Meta, 400 will be the level to watch. 396, the next level support. 393, 5-day moving average. 390, and then 384. As long as Meta can hold above, I would say 396 support to 400, this thing can push all the way up to 405 to 406. On Amazon stock, it's up 1.34%, and Amazon also running and getting that breakout and hitting a new 52-week high, and you can see now trading above 160. So the next stop 163 and then 167 on Amazon. On a pullback, 160 will be a key level to watch. And look at today, this thing did not even touch exactly 5-day moving average, sitting at 158.20. And look at this, guys. Dip was immediately bought up. Not even touching 5-day moving average, came down to 158.90. And that was it. The entire dip, $3-4 dip was bought up, and this thing went back up, hitting a fresh new 52-week high. So on a pullback, 160 support, 158.20, and then watch out for 155. To the upside above 160, the next stop, 163, and then 167 on Amazon. On Google stock, it's up 0.68%, and Google getting above 155, getting a rejection here and coming off, and now trading slightly under 155. We also have earnings coming in. I think that is tomorrow from Google. So that is going to be a big one to watch going into tomorrow right after the bell. Here on Google, above 155, this thing can push up to 160. And below 155, you want to watch this support down here. And same thing like Amazon. You can see this blue line, 5-day moving average, sitting at 152.26. And the dip was there, not quite touching 5-day moving average. But you can see 152.92. And if you actually bought the dip right here at 153, you still made money. This thing went up $2 from there. So on a pullback, you want to watch 152.26, and below that, right down here, 150, and then this gap, 148. Google can push above 155, then you're going to see 160 on Google. On Microsoft, it's up 1.43%, and just like I said in my video that watch out, upper Bollinger Band expanded over 410. So the next stop will be 410, and then possibly going even higher. And look at this thing, getting pretty much up to 410 exactly. And now, look at this, guys. That is just insane. Right after the bell, this thing is up another $2. So going into tomorrow's session, above 410, this one can continue this move all the way up to 415, and then the next stop 420. On a pullback, now watch this high as a support, 406.60, and then 5-day moving average. And also if you look at my screen, and we talked about it in my video over the weekend, that watch out for a pullback down to 5-day moving average. And these moving averages, guys, yes, right now it's sitting at 404, but tomorrow morning they always move up. If they're going up, they will move up. If it's coming down, they will come down even more. Like especially on a bull trend, it will just move up. On a bear trend, it will come down. So they move around a lot, but not by a lot. You can see like yesterday was at what, 403 right here. And you can see the dip was there. Right off of this 404 support, 5-day moving average. From there, this thing took off, got up to 410 almost. So money was there to be made on Microsoft. But like I said, these are only, if you're day trading, that's fine, but you cannot go long here on this massive pump. So going into tomorrow's session, you need to watch 410 resistant right here. Right now it's above 410. The next stop 415, and then 420. On a pullback below 410, you want to watch 406 right here, and then 5-day moving average, which should be moving up even more tomorrow. I would say close to 405, and then watch out for a move down to this gap just slightly under 400, and 400, that is going to be a strong support to watch. And we also have earnings coming from Microsoft this week. On Apple, stock is down 0.36%, and look at this dip on Apple right here, down to the support 190, going slightly under and holding on to 13-day moving average right here. Went back up to 192 and now trading slightly below 192. So going into tomorrow's session, we also have earnings coming from Apple this week. Watch this support right down here, 191, 190.92 to be exact, and just below that 190, and then 188, 20-day moving average, this white line 185, and then this gap 183. To the upside, Apple can stay above 190.92, or I would say 191. Watch out for a move from here all the way back up to 193.60, 195, and then possibly going back up to almost 198 again. And that's all I have for you guys in this video. Thank you so much for watching.